surprise, a brand new car. Well, Matchbox Motors can take you far. Choose from 75 different automobiles that come to Matchbox Motors with your new wheels. If you call with this stunning news, Matchbox Car Wash is a place for you. They'll wash your car and spin it dry. Come to Matchbox Car Wash and give it a try. Matchbox knows all there is about cars. That's why we're the automotive superstars.
Matchbox Motors, Matchbox Car Wash, and Matchbox Cars.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Diecastler, and I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to this episode of Vintage Matchbox Mondays. And this week, I thought I'd look at some of the different 8-dot wheeled cars you get from Matchbox. I think it was on the changeover period. I think when they went over to Universal Toys, when they're being made in Macau, they bought out the 8-dot wheel. And it was, I was watching Lamley Group. I think it was about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and he was showing some of his favourite vintage Matchbox pieces, and his particular favourite era of vintage Matchbox that he particularly likes is the old 8-dot wheels. And I have lots of 8-dot wheel variations in my collection, but I've picked out about 6 pieces that they're not specifically hard, expensive pieces to buy. They're just harder to find. I know when sometimes I get a car, I'll look it up to try and find out a little bit of history on the car, especially the newer Matchboxes. I'm not so sharp on that, and some of these variations, like I said, they're just slightly harder to find. So anyway, that's going to be today's video. We're going to start off with one of my favourite pieces that I got a while ago, and it is the Mercury. I'm just trying to read what it says on the bottom. Stradale wagon. Anyway, it's a wagon. Let's get a bit of zoom on and take a closer look. So there you go. That is the 8-dot wheel, obviously. But this is a pretty cool piece. It is a Mercury wagon. Has an opening tailgate. If I can get it to stay up. There we go. And this, when I bought this piece, most of these pieces, as I said before, come from that same die-cast shop that I used to go to. I haven't been there for a while. I will have to start going in there again. I've just been so busy at the minute. And most of these I paid a £5 for, all boxed. Most of them were unopened, some were open, but they are all pretty much near mint if you just take away the little bit of dust. This one has got a little bit of chipping. That doesn't mean it's been played with. And this one for some reason was £10. And like I said, when I researched it, it was just a more of an, like I said, not a particularly expensive casting or worth particularly much, just more uncommon. So there you go, and the lights are part of the screen. So that's the first 8-dot car, and most of the 8-dot cars, they all had loads of suspension. So pretty cool. This is a particular one I quite like. So this is the Renault 11, I believe. Let's just move some other cars out of the way. So I've got some cars in the way. This little awesome Renault 11 Turbo, and I actually drove one of these. My mate had one many years ago in a red or maroon red, and these were quite the car. These were quite quick. These were easily as quick, if not quicker, than the Renault 5 GT Turbo. I think these had either a 16 or a 1400 turbo in it back in the day, but they weren't as popular as the Renault 5. As you can see, in really good condition. Again, this is one I opened up. My camera is not enjoying this for some reason. I don't know why. There we go. Renault 11, 1985, made in Macau. So like I said, this is from when it was Universal Toy period. These wheels, as far as I'm aware of, weren't a Lesney wheel. It's pretty cool. And again, loads of suspension. And it's cool in the black. I have another variation of it here. This is a taxi version. And you can see how the windows have yellowed over the years. I was wondering at first whether the windows had just faded or whether they were yellowed. But no, this car obviously at some point has been exposed to sunlight, very strangely. But it's still cool. I didn't pay much for this. I think it was like £1 at a car boot sale. In very nice condition. And apparently it's from one of the James Bond movies. I didn't realise when I bought this that it was from the James Bond movies, or one of the movies. I can't remember which one it's supposed to be from now. But again, very cool. Same casting pretty much, just different colour. So that's a couple of Renault 5s. Sorry, Renault 11s. Renault 5s. This is a particularly cool piece. This next piece, I'm going to look on the camera. I know it's a Cavalier. So, me too. Just says, yeah, you can see it says Cavalier. GSI 2000. Or if you're from Germany or that way, it would be an Opel. Opel Cavalier, sorry. Over here we call them Vauxhall Cavaliers. And again, in really, really nice condition. Nice clear windows. And I think this one was an eBay purchase. I can't remember now. But again, more unusual to find. Got them awesome wheels with a suspension. And this is an 89 copyright. So pretty cool. Not a particular favourite. I have a few other different variations of this, but this is my favourite variation. And it is the Sierra XR 4x4. And there's the underneath. Or XR4i. Now, the XR 4x4 used to be, because my uncle had one, they were a 4-door normal Mark 1 Sierra body type with the 4 doors, and they had a 2.9 V6 engine in them, and they were quite the car back in the 80s. They had 4-wheel drive, hence the XR 4x4. Now, this is an XR4i. As you can see, it says XR4i, and I'm assuming these have the same engine and the same 4x4 setup. I've never actually been in one, and I've never actually seen one, in a real one in other words. But usually these wouldn't have been called an XR 4x4, they would be just called the XR 4i. But I'm assuming if they've stuck this on the side that maybe these had the same sort of setup, unless it was just a 2-door variation of the XR 4x4. But I just like the colour. And again, you usually find these beaten to death. And like I said, none of these are particularly expensive, just not the usual variations, or at least nowadays they're not, because they're not made anymore. So that's the Sierra. And then the last one I'm going to show, possibly I might show one more if it's to hand, and it's this awesome little van from Matchbox with that strange company I can never pronounce properly, but I haven't opened this as well, there's no need to. I have a few variations of this. I'm not a carded collector. Usually everything I have I open, but I might be giving this away to a friend at some point, so that is why I've not opened it. It's not, again, not particularly expensive. I think these, if you look on eBay, are fetching about £10 with a card in this condition. The card isn't mint, but there was lots of these. I can't remember what they used to do now, what this particular company was. If it was a printing company or if it was a chemical company. I think it was a chemical, Unichem, that's it, chemical company. Looks pretty cool. Now I'll just show that last piece, just bear with me 2 seconds. Here it is, it was in my bottom drawer. And this is probably one of my favourites of the 8-dot variations, of the 8-dot wheel cars. I just really like this. I have 2 versions of this, one in a different colour, but I don't know where I've put it. And obviously this is the T-Bird. So there you go, it is a Ford T-Bird Turbo Coupe. And I don't know what it is about this car, I just really, really like it. It's got some great details, and it has, again, lensed lights, which would be parts of the screen, and then the rear, I believe, well, these look like coloured lights. So it's got lens lights back and front, and a metal base, and a metal, obviously metal top, and that's the usual suspension. So really, this would be classed as a premium by today's standards, even though it's not a premium. This is just basically a basic Matchbox. And again, it's quite weighty, and and you've got to hand it to when these are being made in Macau by Universal. They were trying to step up the quality for a while. They did go for a stage of these cars with great suspension, metal bases, metal bodies, metal bases, and some of them with lens lights. But anyway, so that is today's video. Again, a bit random, I know. I will have to pop to my favourite shop at some point and try and pick up some more. I've got a bit of time this week, so I will most likely try and get in there. But anyway, with that, please like, share, subscribe, stay tuned for more Vintage Matchbox Mondays episodes. As usual, I've pressed them on the bottom of my camera, there we go. And all that good stuff to come. And with that, I'll see you all very soon. Thank you for watching, take care.